Hello, my name is Candace Berlinger and I'm going to show you how to make your own yogurt from home. And it's really easy. All you need is some milk and a little bit of whey or yogurt to inoculate it. I personally use yogurt myself, so that's the method I will show you today. So first you want to heat your milk up to about 110 degrees. This is the temperature to inoculate it at. However, keep in mind that if you warm it up to 180 degrees, it will yield a creamier consistency, especially if you find a way to maintain that 180 degree temperature for about 5 or 10 minutes and allow the liquid to cook down a little bit. And so that's the method I personally like to use. Me and my family, we really appreciate and enjoy the creamy texture of yogurt, so we do take it to that 180 degrees. And one of my other tips that I've learned is to substitute some of the milk for a little bit of cream. So for a quart-sized batch, 32-ounce batch, I actually substitute 4 ounces of it for half and half creamer, and then the rest of it is milk. And the combination of doing it at 180 degrees and adding that little bit of cream just gives me and my family the most delicious, creamy texture in our yogurt. If you're working with raw milk and you want to preserve the benefits of the raw milk, go ahead and just take the temperature up to 110 degrees, inoculate it, and go from there. So it's going to be a matter of personal preference. And the yogurt, if this is your first time making yogurt, you're going to want to get a store-bought yogurt. You want to make sure it's plain and organic, and that it has on the packaging that it still contains live active cultures, otherwise it won't inoculate. I'm going to be using yogurt from a previous batch, so you can see my previous batch of yogurt here, really nice and creamy texture and consistency. And I'm just going to go ahead and scoop out a quarter of a cup. And whenever you're doing about a quart batch of liquid, 32 ounces of liquid, you want to add about a quarter cup of your yogurt more or less to inoculate it. So I'm going to add this yogurt in here. And then we'll go ahead and whisk it up. If you don't have a thermometer, it's okay. It's helpful to be able to gauge the temperature. But if you feel the milk and it's about body temperature or slightly warmer, that's a good gauge of knowing it's in that 100 to 100 degree temperature range to inoculate. So now that this is nice and mixed up in here, the next step is to cover it. You want to take a nice tightly woven cloth and cover it and secure it with a rubber band. This keeps any bugs and debris out while it ferments. And then you want to put it in a nice warm place, ideally around 90 to 100 degrees, so that way we can maintain a good 95 to 100 degree temperature in the yogurt. A lot of people like to put it inside their oven with the pilot light on, and that usually warms it up and keeps that good temperature range. Some folks like to put it on top of their fridge. So depending on the time of year, the environment you live in, how cool your house is, you'll want to gauge the correct and best place to put your yogurt to ferment it. And then as far as how long you ferment your yogurt for, that can vary. I've seen recipes as low as 8 hours, but I've never been able to get good yogurt to come out in that short amount of time. I personally like to take my yogurt up to 24 hours. One of the benefits of fermenting it up to 24 hours is you're allowing the lactic acid bacteria to thrive and have enough time to actually digest the lactose. And this can be really important for folks who are sensitive to dairy or lactose in dairy. And people who are lactose intolerant have found, or most often find, that if they ferment their yogurt at home and ferment it for that 24 hours, it's more easily tolerable and digestible for them. So once your yogurt is ready, like we have here, you can just leave it plain and it will store for weeks in the fridge, and then you can just flavor it as needed, or you can flavor it in big bulk batches. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can add fresh, sliced fruit. You can make your own syrups. I've added elderberry syrup to mine, and it's absolutely delicious. I make my own roasted seed jam, and I'll mix that in there, and that's delightful. But one of my favorites is using vanilla beans. So I just add in some split vanilla beans for my homemade vanilla extract that I make. I whisk it in there, I leave the whole vanilla beans in, and it's just fine. You could also use the vanilla bean extract itself. So I hope this encourages you to easily make your own yogurt at home and have fun and creative with the process.